it. No, no, no.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 30 of The Treat Show. We're getting down with the episodes at this point. How's everybody doing tonight? I see you guys in the chat. Thank you so much. We also, we're working on getting on the Future Cannabis Project network, and for some reason, we're having some technical difficulties tonight. But I think you'll be able to see the show there tomorrow. I'm really excited to be working with those guys, and I think we have a bright future ahead. Oh, let me see. I'm just getting situated, as always. Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm running a little bit late. Sorry about that as well. Let's see. Okay. Got it. I just want to make sure I can see your guys' comments. Okay, and those that if you can't comment in the Instagram chat, I'm really sorry, as once again I clicked the wrong setting there. And so if you guys just find your way over to the Treat Show on YouTube, you can comment and enter the chat there. All right. I think I have to cross my legs. Here we go. I think we're good now. Is there any way if I can see, can we move that just a little bit? Thank you so very much. All right. So let's see who's in the chat tonight. We got James, THC Garage. We got 710DP. We got Rod. It's very good to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. So tonight I'm actually really excited about this show. I'm going to show you guys photos and some videos from a client I worked with a couple years ago at a grow in Denver, and it's not like a standard facility or anything like that, and that's why I thought it would be cool to do this show is for the home growers out there. Is I don't just do commercial scale, and I want you to see a project that taking a really small space and really making it work as optimal as possible. So I was able to find a good amount of pictures, but I unfortunately couldn't find, I'll go on a mission to find the last of some of these flower rooms, but I think this will be cool to show you guys. Let's see if we just dive in right out the gate. So I'm gonna go here and slide over here. So then, all right. Oh, that sounds better. Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, so this first photo, you guys let me know how the sound is. Do you think it sounds a little bit better than when we started, or what do you guys think? Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this first shot here, I have to turn sideways as well. The way that the monitor is set up. So enjoy my lean with me. So this shot is actually of an attic of a garage, and it's kind of hard to see. And if we need to, I can make it bigger if you guys really can't see. Just let me know. But so you can see over on this left-hand side, she's got all of her AC and kind of everything like out and exposed in the room. And then she has plywood on the floor with, this is actually cool and something that I use, but the shower mats that they put in, you could get them at Home Depot, or like even like a pond liner. It's essentially the same kind of thing. That's what you see in the center here, kind of built this tray, because you're limited in this space, obviously, as far as height. And we all know with these framed kind of pitched roofs that it can be kind of difficult in these spaces. So as we're going through these photos, some of them got mixed up, but this is essentially the beginning. But I'll show you how her prior plants were set up. But basically, she had, I want to say roughly 20, maybe a little bit more, upstairs in this space, between domes and this tray here, and 20 plants or so. And I think she was growing predominantly in rock wool blocks of like the really large blocks. I think the 12-inch, and had drip irrigation. But you can see here, she just kind of had like the simple setup of drip. Trying to remember the company that this is. It's not even Rainbird, but you can get it at like Home Depot or Lowe's for really inexpensive. I'm not the biggest fan of it, honestly. But so this, you can see that she's got 315s up here and a T5 in the back right corner. They can't see it. Oh, okay. Thank you. So then this second photo, let's see here. Oh, okay. I have to exit. Sorry, I'm learning this, guys. You're learning with me. Oh, see, this is like a little jumbled up. Okay, these are too late, guys. We got to step you through. Not so late. Let's see down here. You think if I tried this one? Nope. Let's go a little bit lower. Damn it. Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm just trying to find some old photos, and I think that they flipped it backwards. I think the old ones are at the bottom, and the new ones are at the top. Sorry to do this to you guys. Okay, that's an early one. Okay, so these are some early photos here. So this is actually, let me see if I can find one more older, because this is after her first transplant, of still doing it in my style. And I really want you guys to see the beginning. So that's still, I'm going to mess this up because I'm going to go through all. Can you see them? To see. Okay. Okay, so this is our first plants here. In that setup that I was talking about, sorry guys, so you can see these are the Grodan cubes that are cheaper. So they're still made by Grodan, but it was their first equipment. So they have like the paper is essentially what's different. It's not the silver paper that you'll see on the Grodan Rockwool cubes. That's from their new machinery. And it's weird, but I don't think it makes a huge difference. But I do like the newer paper a little bit better personally, is it's a little bit thicker. So when you start to get slime and kind of build up sometimes even when Rockwool is, I think it prevents it a little bit more. They don't like, I feel like your plant stays a little bit more sturdy in the plastic. The white ones sometimes will slip off from what I found. But so you can see she has a lot of algae on the top here. And this is, so these plants were pretty sick. Is in this photo here is I defoliated them. I wish I'm not the best at taking photos right from the get-go. And so I regret not showing you how bushy the plants were before I took them back. So the reason I took them back so much, you can see they're like lollipopped up to like the third node or something from the top, is she had root aphids pretty bad. She had a couple other pests as well, but the root aphids were definitely something that was causing a lot of issues. So when your uptake in your plant will start getting interrupted, is you'll see algae thrives in the same environment as cannabis, right? With the same type of nutrients, the same type of lighting. It really likes the 12 hours, like on and off. Like it's really ideal for algae to thrive. And then you start running into issues though, like Pythium, or Botrytis or Fusarium. So you want to avoid this, obviously, but you can see the stalks of these plants. You can see at the base, they're kind of puddling in, and they have like a really, really big slime kind of like film going across. So the first plant that you see isn't that bad. I'm not saying that it's not good, but you could swing it. The plant that you see directly behind it and those following suit they're pretty thick of coverage of algae. So once you get that though, it does start interfering with your actual plant's uptake, and it will start causing problems. It's not necessarily if you have a little bit of algae or something and the block can still breathe, but this is where you start getting into like suffocation levels that aren't the greatest. So we're gonna see. Now we know that the picture game is gonna be a jumble. So this is the right side of her grow in this attic space. So these are new clones that I cut. It was a lot messier, and I'm sure we'll find those photos. But there was a lot of stuff in this space. She kind of had plants shoved below that T5 in the back corner, and had a little tray that she had there that was like, it had like a dehumidifier below it, and it just was like kind of not a good space. Let's see, you'll start running into shenanigans with that. So this one again is like the center of the room, just so you can kind of get a better idea. Let me see if we keep, I think we're finding some old stuff now. We're on the right path. Okay, so if we go up here, actually let's go down a little bit. Sorry guys. So hard because I like sent like 30 photos of this thing. Getting ridiculous. Just okay. So I just keep showing you the afters instead of the previous ones. Okay, so these are the same plants. So this is more of what I'm talking about. Is so she had some plants that the really gross rock wool blocks that you saw, is those are transplanted into these 12 by 12 pots. Actually, these look like the 9 by 9s. I'm so sorry. Those are made by Hydro Farm, and they're square pots. I love the square pots. The reason why is like if you're using cloth or plastic, you can run into a lot of humidity and disease problems, especially when you're packing like a pretty dense group of plants together. It can be detrimental. Plastic, even in the round pots, though, seems like you can run into drainage problems when you're really stacking them once again and you can't get them to line up. Like you can fit more with the square pots on a rectangle or, a standard 4x8 tray or something like that. And then the fact that they can be pressed against each other, you'll see that there's space the way that the pots are actually built where they almost like narrow down to the base of the pot. So it's weird, but even if they're pressing at the top, you still have your plant pot breathing at the bottom. And they have great drainage holes. That's why they've been my favorite, is they have elevated up drainage on the sides of each corner. It goes all the way to the base of it. The pots run about $2.99 to like $6, I think, on average. It is kind of a little bit more expensive, but I think just rewash your pots and it is worth it. But you can see she's got these little solo cups in the back under the T5. She's got her old clones under the kind of T5 sticking out to your right. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, we cleaned out those, took out those bad boys. Okay, so those are the clones. These are the new clones that I cut for her. So same sick plants that these have been cloned, but they have been treated in this photo. So they've been treated once here is once I took them off the plant, I just submerged them into a bleach solution, and this is just phase 1, right? So these are about, I would say 8 or 9 days old in this photo, and because they're still combating a couple things, like they could honestly look better, but they were doing pretty good for the circumstances. Let's see. Yeah, what are you guys smoking on? Yes. Anything delicious in the chat tonight? I'm smoking on the Skittles. It's just like really been my jam lately. Okay, this is another photo of this is a silver Grodan plastic, but this is another photo of her plants previous to any of the treatments. So you can see the stalk there. Is people's biggest mistake with rock wool is you can't leave the stalk like wobbly like that. Like that probably happened when the plant was cloned, and that's okay. It will obviously live, but the thing is like you can see how thin and skinny and kind of like unstable it still is, and you can see where she had to apply more rock wool around it. So you don't want to be running into that. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Okay, so these are her clones from the ones that she took, and she was using a peat moss, which is pretty common, the root riots, I believe. And let's see. Okay. Now I think we're going to start getting into the new stuff, actually. So I tried to take this space and get it sterile. So this is funny, but this is Romeo and his son, and they are my favorite crew to work with. I started my job at headquarters, and Romeo was basically the assistant of everything. It's like he used to help us transplant. He used to help us do absolutely all the like hard stuff, washing pots, like all that stuff all the time. And Romeo and I, it was like 14 years ago now. And that's how we met. And I was just a trimmer. And it's really funny because now Romeo's worked for me for years and he works for my parents' company as well. And it's hilarious because he does beautiful work. Anybody that needs drywall or patching, like I have made this man do the craziest textures, craziest cover ups. Like I'll show you guys Way to Grow ceiling sometime that he fixed for me. And it's just beautiful. So let's see if we can. I just want you guys to know Romeo and his son Ramiro. Great people. Let's see here. We're gonna exit out of these bad boys. Come back over here. So let's see. This is actually the flower room. So downstairs in the garage had a pull down little standard like attic door. Really small hallway. Those are the photos I'm still trying to find. Is we did redo all of these spaces, but it's been hard for me to find the photos for some reason of the flower rooms in the hallway. But so this space, I cleaned up and defoliated her plants already in this photo. And we had been running H2O2. So the algae on the blocks prior to this looked the same as what you saw upstairs. And in this one, you can see that the algae is like finally coming back a little bit. So next week is we're going to do an episode on H2O2 and hydrogen peroxide to talk about the benefits and how we can properly use it to kind of combat these things. The thing is I think H2O2 is intimidating or scary for some reason, especially if you're like running organic compost teas or like living soil. But if I can tell you that we're going to cover all the things to give you the confidence to really start using it. And I think especially those guys that are using easy cloners out there is super, super important. So you guys just let me know in the chat if you have any questions for next Sunday. I was going to try to squeeze the topic in this episode together today, but there's just too much good information about hydrogen peroxide. So yeah, it definitely helped here. But okay, I keep showing you guys the same old pictures. Just, I will become a pro at this, all right? You guys just bear with me. Okay, so if we come to the top here, this is our Romeo again. Let's see what we got right here again. Okay, so this is that HVAC inducting side that you saw in the beginning that was all exposed into the room. So you can't really have that. It's like, I'm saying if you absolutely have to, but if we're talking about costs here, it's like, honestly, we did this all together. We worked 1,000,000 hours to get this done in this space. And Romeo was my only like real contractor on the job. And you can do something like this at your house for very inexpensive. And the type of benefits that it brings you, and it sounds ridiculous, but just like russet mites and aphids and some of these things, like russets love plywood and they love like ducting like that, and spider mites and like all these different insects will either go dormant like and stay within your space, and say you like think you nuked everything, is like they can stay just chilling for like 6 months before they come back out again or need plants or need any type of like feeding source necessarily. So it is good if you can keep this where we can wipe down the walls and everything. So this space is all FRP board, as we touch on that. So FRP board is kind of expensive. So I did this grow prior to COVID. And FRP board used to run me, you can get the smooth finished or textured finished, different types. I like the smooth, especially in this space, to reflect the light and all kinds of things. But and if you like honestly like rub your skin against it, it's a lot soft. It's a lot softer than most textures. But yeah, it's really, really good for at least behind your reservoir. Is if you can't afford to do a whole room, like I think the price used to be like $7 to $10 a sheet. Now it's all the way up to like $80 a sheet. And so I totally understand if you can't do a space like this, but if you do your reservoir, do the back wall of your reservoir, or do half walls. Is if everybody just did their half kind of like base of their wall and left the top where you just had paint, just makes a world of difference. So let's go down here. This just really doesn't want to work with me. Oh, blocking out pictures. Okay, so this is just a photo of a plant. And it's really just showing the progression of the plants. It's not that they're flawless. It's not that she's perfect, but they're getting there. And it's exciting to see like the fan leaves fan out like that is that's when you start to see that their uptake and everything is like really going well. You can see that this plant has 5 leaves. And this sounds ridiculous, but usually genetically you can see if they've drifted, typically because of disease issues, sometimes bugs, but if they have like the 3 leaves or something kind of off. So there was a lot of that in this garden before, and that was just exciting. So we will take that one away now. Okay, let's go. I do have some full, damn it. I do have some full pictures. Okay, so this is when we're getting almost finished here. And so you can see the new trays. They were all completely redone, just to make sure, again, cleanliness and everything was all finished up tidy. So I took Lux Lighting this is weird because I had a lot of people disagree with me on par. And in this room and in this space, and I don't want to go like too much into that right now, but I feel like it's interesting to me because she had 315s and the plants are like growing into the 315s. You have T5s and like it sounds like T5s are like mild as far as like power usage and all this stuff, but like they take up a lot of space. They're heavy. And if you have 3 of them, like how many domes can you really fit under there? Like it's not that I haven't grown plenty of times with T5s. It's just like we've come a long way. Lux sells these lights. They used to be $80 for a pack of 2. So yeah, that's where this benefit is being sponsored by Lux at the time it helped, but I think they charged me like $40 a light or something. So it like half the price or something. So it made this a lot more manageable to do. But I think that it worked out really well. Is like you can see that because of the pitch and like she's standing on her knee there is you don't have a lot of height to work with in here, and you'll start getting where the plants get so dense and you want them to get big, but like they'll start casting out themselves of light. Like, so it's not good to me when I saw the center of her roof is like, I was like, you can't have lights in the center. Like, I know everybody's eyes gravitate to that and like you want to do that, but it's like, you're going to hit your head if you put LEDs in this space that are like 4x4 fixtures. You're going to like not be able to work on the sides of the plants. You're going to hit yourself. It's going to hurt. Like, I feel like it just would make the space like too unpleasant to work with versus with the FRP board and the Lux clone lights is they're all daisy chained together. And you can actually just take bleach and a microfiber rag and just wipe down this entire space. The floor is done with it. Everything is done with it. So this is just one of my favorite spaces. I wish my own personal grow like looks like this. So this is the other tray that you saw. So we took out all of that stuff. So that back shelf is actually where her ducting was continued in that back wall there. So I actually had that covered up. And so you can't see in this photo because the Lux boxes are there. But after everything was finished there's lights that are actually the same lights that hang over down. So that whole shelf becomes her clone space where you can hold about 8 domes there. And they all had plenty of lighting as well, but it made it really nice for her to work with, I think. And taking clones, like it's a tight space to work with, so kind of like creating a little bit more ease there. The drip lines is just Netafim. I absolutely love Netafim. So the ventilation, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So the venting, all of that is covered up by that. And so I'll try to find the other photos that I went through and really pointed out. But I had Romeo build a wall that covered up the left side of the grow. And so that was all enclosed where she has like, where you're going to have to change your filters and all of like your actual maintenance of everything. But this part is just like her actual ducting and things. So yeah, we could actually enclose it. If you do need to get into it, there's a way to get into it. The tops you can pull up. But it made it really nice, like to create this clone space, without her having to have like a clone rack or it really interfering with the other I don't know. It's such a limited space, obviously. So I feel like I wanted to get her. My personal goal was like there was 275 plants that could fit in here at the end of everything, and that she could maintain either big plants by vegging like a lot more, like, and having, I don't know, plenty to choose from, and really like you could do all kinds of things in this space. You could do pheno hunts, you could do a lot of stuff now versus before when she was only kind of limited to like the 15 or 20 plants. And then I don't think she really enjoyed working in it, as I think it was just so tight to like work around. And surprisingly, those little mats on the floor are just foam pads, but like it really does work for the space. You'd be surprised on how comfortable it is. But the Netafim drip lines, those guys are my favorite because they have the 4-ways, the 2-ways, or the single lines. And they have them pre-assembled or not assembled. It's up to you. The price difference is like 50 cents. I would definitely get them pre-assembled. But I think that the 2-ways, so it's weird, but on her space here is the right tray is actually done with 2-ways. And it's because she has a lot more plants that are going to be in there that are going to be smaller, but double the runs. So what the 2-way does is it takes one button for 2 lines. And so on her center tray okay, so the benefit of that is when we're stacking so many plants so close together, if you have to do an individual punch for every single hose, is you're going to run into like, sometimes you can run into like pressure problems, but pretty much everything now is pressure regulated, so that's not necessarily it, but it really just gets messy and it just gets so busy looking. So I do like the 2-ways. So 2 for 1 there. And then same with your 4-ways. So the 4-ways are super beneficial because you have 1 hole for 4 lines. So in flower or your bigger plants, is it will take me two emitters for a 9x9 pot of drip lines. So you can, same thing, is you can get away with a lot less drip lines everywhere. Oh, okay, let's go down here. Man, I just cannot stand that I keep clicking on the old photos. Okay, this one's just just everything so you can see. Let me make this bigger really fast. Okay, so you can't see exactly, but those cutouts are where the doors panels went over to cover or to let you in and out to change out your filters from the AC units and everything else. But you can see we cut around that nice little can there. Hated that thing. Hit my face on it so many times. But yeah, that side still isn't my favorite side to work in. But I don't know if you can kind of see where that box wall and like how deep it is if you figure, I don't know, it's 24 inches. So I think, I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Let's see. We're going to go to these other ones. Okay, so this is a side, that right side that I was telling you that you can gain by doubling up. So these plants are kind of sad here. Just going to be honest. But so what Tanya did is she didn't think that I put enough lights up. I'm going to be honest with you. So she added these 2 T5s. And I think that is why the plants are a little upset here. I think it's a little too much. And you figure these are coming out of like clones, like clone domes essentially. So those are the 4-inch blocks. And those have 1.5 inch rock wool in them prior, and then are just transplanted in here normal. They all have 1 dripper per plant. So, and it actually, honestly, my mistake is there is a 4-way dripper there. And so I don't know if you guys can zoom in a little bit more, but you can see where it splits off and where they really are nice. I like doing the rectangles instead of loops on my trays. It's up to you guys though. Again, it's pressure regulated, so you don't really have to run into that. The fit lock, okay, so that elbow there though. So those are Tech Lock by Netafim. I'm so sorry. But it sucks because you can't like go to Home Depot to get those parts, but it is so worth it if you actually order from Netafim and do it, because you don't have to worry about your lines blowing out or any shenanigans. Like, super easy. It has the pressure emitter little, like, I don't even know what you call it. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what it's called, but it's inside and it's very obvious though. And you just you kind of just screw into this little piece, and it just makes it so easy. I feel like, sorry, I did a terrible job describing that. Okay, so this is where her reservoir is, and I just posted this because you couldn't really see. So this is where the stairs enter up into the grow, and the reservoir would be right in front of you because there was really no other way that we could do it with her drains and the weight. So this is a reservoir that actually has the back cut off. You can't tell, I don't think, very well from this photo. Excuse me. But it was so it could go flat against the wall. And I don't know. I thought that it worked really good for this space. Let's see over here. No, same thing. I'm just so good at that. Okay. Doubling up, tripling up. This little foam pad, I just wanted you to see it so close. What's this one? Oh, we gotta exit. Okay, so these are a couple close-ups of the plants. So this is funny, but not. So do you see the raised edges of the leaves here? You can see that they're kind of like more exaggerated, I guess. And the growth is a little bit tighter on the actual fan leaves. They're kind of like squeezing a little bit instead of like fanning out. And so I know this is like hard to see, but this is like a symptom of russet mites. So this is when like you would have russets that like are either getting set back and they're not really like out of control or something, or you've had them for just like not very long. They're just getting going. So in this photo, she's honestly, she had a russets really bad when I first started there, and we're actually making progress in this photo. So I know it's ridiculous to say that, but they're actually doing pretty good, and it's like more subtle. But I wanted to point that out because russets are so hard to see, and especially if you've never actually had them, like you can get like too deep into it, like with people like just disagreeing on russet mites. It's weird, but like people have so much passion behind russet mites, and I think that this is something distinctive that they do. And it's just so when you spray that they can live through the sprays, they'll start to curl, and the leaves will start to curl on those edges, really exaggerated once the population starts getting out of control. But it's really so they can protect themselves. But sometimes the leaves can fold up or down. Like that one, they just so happen to be going up and a little bit more raised. But you can also have it where they start to curl backwards. Just look out for that with your plants sometimes. Oh, see, now we got the uglies. Whoop, whoop. Let me see. I got some videos, so we might be able to pull up those videos too. Okay, so that was the whole back corner I was trying to find earlier. And really talk about is so that's where that open space became in the back before, where the little clone rack was, I guess, or I'm not sure what you call it. A clone stand. Okay, the Z is really good, I gotta say. Yeah, okay, so we went through all the photos here. Let me show you. This I'm going to try to do. We will see how it goes. It's not a good start. Let's see. I don't even know if I want to risk it right now. I'm scared. Nope. Don't you guys worry. I'm coming back. Dang it. I don't think I saved it right, guys. I'm really sorry. I knew this was going to happen. Well, I'll figure out how to do it before the show ends. Just like magic. He's coming to help me. I thought I could do it. I need a little bit more practice, guys. It's going to be worth it, though. I should have saved it with a nice little description. Okay, so this is just a time lapse. It's crazy looking of the backyard. So taking out the plants and power washing them off with a paint sprayer. This is something you never want to have to do, but if you have to, there it is. I wish the video actually showed the plants, but I was trying to be like somewhat discreet, I guess. And there was aphids so bad that aphids really love water, and they'll really thrive actually with rock wool. It's surprising how much they like rock wool. But the blocks and everything, and so I don't know. I'll just like all that algae and all that gross shit. Like I'll just go power wash that stuff off outside. Outside. Don't do it inside your grow. If you do, it will just smell like swampland and be disgusting. But if you can take them outside, if the weather is right, if you are not afraid of helicopters finding you, this is where it's at. Okay, we can go to the next one. Thank you so much. These.
Don't you carry stones? Don't you?
Thank you. So this one is just the clones. Once again, is I just get excited when they're starting off well. And this is one thing about rock wool in the blocks is you really want them to be blown out like that is before you transplant them. Is sometimes people will let them just barely get going, and that's a mistake that they'll make with that first transplant is you want them to be full on ready. So that is a clone that is ready for a transplant. And this is the last video. Oh, no, it's not. There's one more. These are just the clones doing good. Doing really good. This is when you start to feel excited. Isn't there one more? Okay, sorry. This one's last one, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so this was just like so you could actually see the full space. It's hard because it's a tiny space once again, but it was cool. I liked it. It's probably one of my favorites as far as just tight. I'll try to work on finding the videos the photos of the downstairs over the next couple weeks, but thank you so much. But I think every Sunday is I'm going to take from grows that I've worked at in the past and really try, thank you. Really try to, can I go back to my other, thank you, is I'm going to really try to, thank you, is, damn it, what was I just thinking? Sorry. Okay, sorry, I'm going to do every Sunday a little piece, it won't be this long, of just past grows and like ranging in scales so that people can see all of the different options and all of the different things available to everybody and like how many different systems and how many different, like you can get really creative. Like it's funny, but sometimes people will be like, how do you grow? And it's such a hard question for me to like answer. I'm like, what does your space look like? And I don't even think I grow. I couldn't even like put in my mind what that actually is because now it's just like I grow as close, I don't know, like more for, what are your circumstances? It's not really like my necessary preference or something. I guess I like it all, but I'm like, if you want to grow organic and you want to do living beds, then like you should veg longer and you should like really push your plants and you should really grow long-term strains like hazes and really get the most out of your dirt, really get the most out of your system. But then you talk to somebody that's like, I want to produce 100 pounds every blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, you should probably do Sea of Green. And like, I don't know. It's interesting to me that, What did you guys think of this space? Okay, I'm going to go through here. Norman Rockwell. I love it. Good idea for a show. But if the customer is happy, why do I care? LOL. Oh, this is so funny. I have to say, it's like the customer is not always, it's not that they're not happy. I just think it's funny because like, I think this is where ego kind of gets like sloppy sometimes. Is like, for all of us probably, is like, you'll come in and you'll be like pumped to show them and you'll be so excited and like doing the final touches. And it's just hilarious because sometimes they'll come in and they'll be like, I thought of this before you. Or like, I can't even describe it, but there's something that's like, I didn't need you for this. But I don't know, at the end of the day, you're like, who cares? I think as long as they're actually happy, like when I follow up with them or they actually, I don't know. is I feel like it would be hard to me to be unhappy with a space like that. Like, and I'm saying like not because I did it, because if you just like went from like a tough work environment of just like wood being under your butt when you're trying to work on stuff and like trying to like prune and bending over these 315s and like your hair, it gets dangerous in there. I don't know if you guys struggle with that, but geez, like it can get really dangerous under a 315 with your head just like right there. I used to like drop the bulbs in a room that I used to breed in, and it was such a small room that I couldn't have the hoods to the 315s, and it was so sketchy. So sketchy. They'll sting you. It was like a jellyfish. Lots of weight on the res too. Yeah, the res was definitely heavy. Even like that small of a res for the spaces, I had to place it particularly right there because that's where the actual infrastructure, like, or support walls, I guess, or beams were. I don't know. This is what happens when I get high. I can like say some things, but not all things. Thank you, Dark Horse. It's very nice. Dramatic transformation. It makes you feel good when you like see something so clean. But then it's like funny because it's been years now, and I'd love to see like what it really looks like. Oh, devil bug. Absolutely. I'm not even, I think you're talking about the aphid, because somebody asked me the other day what I think the worst insect to treat is, and it's definitely aphids. And it's not, it's funny to me because I think that there's so many products that like say they can kill aphids, but once you have aphid, like I have like the strongest mother trucking aphids I have ever seen in my life. I have had like they have been treated with like the gnarliest stuff at times and been like just like not even fazed by it. It's fascinating. Why is it raining in the living room? That is so funny. Those are like the problems. Those are the problems of a grower's life. Like sometimes I want to do things like it was funny as I wanted to put just like a 44-gallon reservoir trash can in my room recently. And I was like, can I do this? Like it was just like funny that you even have to like stop and pause, or you take the risk of like flooding it once. Like everybody knows you're going to, and it's just like so terrifying. I think, yeah, I don't know. It gets dangerous. There's another commercial grow that I thought would be kind of cool to share with Tanya's, but because it's the smallest commercial grow I've ever done, but it's an actual commercial grow. And it was like 20 lights of Gavitas, and it was just so cool. They had pulled 36 pounds in a year, and like off of these perpetual cycles. And they were running a system where they had like weeks 1 through 9 in trays, and so that would literally be their harvest, is like a 4x8 tray. And so I took the room and I decided that they were having some issues, but I decided that they should get rid of all those plants, right? Like we should just, instead of doing like a perpetual thing, if you're pulling 38 pounds a year, like we can do better than that if we just pull the whole room. Like I at least know that. So it was funny we ended up pulling 158 wet pounds, and like that was wet, right? And so finished, it was like 74 or something. And it was awesome. Like seeing these guys, like they were so excited to see a space like that, pull like that. But they had like 16 growers or something. And I think the most that they ever pulled was like 60 pounds or something in a year. And I think that it's just cool if you like really can look at a space and be like, what can we do here? What is the potential? I don't know if you guys feel like that at all. I just get excited. Oh, why? You're so nice. Oh, I like Hazel. That's an awesome word. Thank you, THC Garage. That is so nice. I really appreciate you saying that. I need some more likes and subscriptions. But everybody says that, and really, I don't know if the show, I don't know how you guys are feeling lately, but I think that with the Future Cannabis Project and all of these different sponsors and all these good things, like you guys are not even going to be ready. We have so much stuff. I was just like, where do I even begin? I've got so much stuff going on in New York to tell you guys about, but I just want to wait for the opportune like moment to, I don't know, but I think it's going to be really good. And I think Colorado, the grow here in like the business I'm working with, we're doing so much cool shit. And working with Toomey and Toomey Genomics is, you know, for HLVD and Fusarium, botrytis, all of your testing. Even at home grows. And even if you don't live here, let's say, I think that you should use Toomey to get your shit tested. It's weird because I'm finding that throughout my career, I've noticed that like 80% of my clients all have Fusarium. And this is prior to HLVD. And now looking back is like, I bet it would be the same. Is I bet all of those people that had high levels of Fusarium probably had like medium to high levels of HLVD. And so anyways, it's nothing again that like anybody's dropping the ball on or anything like that. But I think because it's been around and it's been spread so heavily, in seeds, there's a big misconception that it can be transferred in seeds, but it's like it definitely can. Excuse me. Fusarium. You are right. Call me out, Disbanded. I refuse to say Fusarium the way that you're supposed to say it. And it's not because I don't know. It's just because you guys have to hear me try to speak English all the time. And I know it's hard. But just imagine when you start throwing all these types of words at me, Fusarium, and I'm supposed to like carry on a conversation saying that 15 times. Like, I don't know. Who's gone wild? You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Oh, I think okay, this one's a good one from Mr. Toad. Thank you for chiming in. I've used Toomey, my Flora DNA, and Pathogen DX for testing of different viruses and viroids. I've tested seed stock and plants as well. Mr. Toad, freaking killing it. That's what I like to see. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I think it's nothing personal, and I think this is what's weird about it. Is like people are kind of making it like that aren't educated in the topic or something from what I've seen. But it's really just not. It's like, don't be bashing on yourself. Don't be thinking anything. It's like, and don't be thinking that you can't afford it. It's like, you can definitely afford this. Like, Toomey will work with you. It's an affordable price point. Like, I just think it's awesome. Is like, I think if you can like take your favorite genetics and seeds as well, it's like the levels are really high that are coming back in seeds. So I just think it's not like, again, I don't think you should be scared of having these things. I think we should work together on getting your plants treated out of them, you know, and like really combating them as a group. And making sure that you're just like, you can hold on to things that you really value. It's not, and you can understand that you can take sick plants, and I hate to say this, but you can take sick plants and you can get them to run and finish, and have a particular protocol with that to make sure that they're safe to consume, that they sit dormant instead of being flared. Like, there's just a lot of things that you can do. And I think to me, it's good. And the other labs that you mentioned, like anybody that's doing this, it's really a great tool. I can't wait till you can start like we can afford to just send in everything, like testing your equipment, testing like your nutrients, testing your pesticides. Like, it would be just so cool if you could like, I want a group subscription, like for 50 things a month. Like, I think it would be awesome. Have you guys, do you think actually, Mr. Toad, do you think it was easy or difficult kind of to prepare the test samples? Like, was that something that you were like, oh, this is easier than I anticipated? Or was it kind of like challenging? Because there was parts even to me, it's like, that like the first time is like, okay, it's weird, but with this testing is you can take samples either way. Is you can do like leaf samples of the actual, leaves itself, or you can take root samples. And it's weird, but this last time I did testing is I took like 100 samples, like seriously, and I did roots where you cut. So it's interesting, but you're supposed to take the base of your plant if you can. So if the plant is old enough and strong enough, it's like if you can take it by the base. I like to tap my plants out or whatever you do. It's like so you have all your roots and everything just exposed. So I was guided by Dr. Tassa, who is so phenomenal, is to take and like rotate your plants around while you're taking the samples. So you would take actually one side of the plant, say if it had a root that was kind of dangling, or even on the side where of the surface is like, you only have to take something that's probably like a centimeter long, and then you like rotate the plant around. You take another piece, and then you rotate the plant around, and you take another piece, and then you do it one more time, you take another piece. So you have these 4 pieces from each side of the plant. And then I would take those and I would cut those in half to be able to fit in the sample tube properly. And it's weird, but that's not like your last step, but that's like a major part of the beginning. And so I think that when I was doing this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hard because your gloves, like you're trying not to have soil or cocoa in the actual sample. And like your gloves have water on them or whatever you're working with, bleach, like, I don't know. It was just, there were certain parts that I was like, oh my gosh, these tubes are so tiny and this is so tiny. But I think for the most part, as far as being like user friendly though, like where you really can just dive in and like, yeah. And the different parts of the plant is like the reason that Dr. Tasta said that was so important is because you can actually just have parts of your plant that are infected with these things. Like it's not necessarily the whole plant. Which I think is really important to like, it's like funny, but like we've said that in gardens before. Like, you know, when like you and your friend are walking through a grow and you're like, oh my gosh, like look at this plant, look at this leaf, look at this cola. Like, and it's funny, but like it really comes down to like, how is your plant uptaking? Is like, I think that if your plant is eating, if it's eating, it's healthy. And I think that if it's not eating is, or if something's interfering with its eating is typically bugs and disease is like, I think it's just going to struggle like as a straw, you know, in like a cup or something is I feel like it's just going to struggle making it to the very top of the plant no matter what. Is like if you've got this weird lateral growing or stunting of the plant, like it's probably just pulling it to the top and then just shooting it, like almost like bruising it in my mind, like with just the pressure of the actual plant. Like I don't know, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I bet you guys, what do you guys actually think? Let's see. Yeah, me and Fazoli did testing at the same time. Oh, that is awesome. Yes. I feel like I wanted to see Tyler in the chat tonight because he is just, again, like one of the nicest people I probably met in this industry just this year. That's just phenomenal. But if you guys are shopping for weed in Denver or, yeah, hit up Tyler Van Horn. He's a really great person. So okay. Do you guys think that we should call it a night? Or do you guys have, what are your guys' thoughts about next week with doing the hydrogen peroxide show? Do you guys like those growing organically? Like, are you interested in hearing about this at all? Or, I don't know, like, does anybody have like anything? Is there anybody opposed to H2O2? Like, because I only say this because I'd like to find the information that would be most useful when we talk about this. Yeah, I obviously need to work on my PowerPoint presentations, but we'll get to that. But yeah, I think that we're also, my salt line is, I think I'm going to really pursue getting that out over the next couple months. Is like, I know that sounds like a long time out, but I'm interested to see if there's anybody that would like to try the line before I launch it as a very big thing. Is I'd like to start small and really get some people on it. And I think it's something that I'm just curious to see if you are combating like any pest or disease issues, or if you do like even think that your plants could possibly have these things and you're not necessarily going to pursue testing. Is like, let me know, as we can do an episode sometime, or even do a Patreon episode or something like more intimate, I guess, and detailed of how can we like treat these plants together, and if you are combating some stuff. Because I've been getting a lot of questions lately about nutrients and like, and having a lot of people talk badly about salts, and like I hate that word even but I want it to be something that we're at least like open to and feel good about. But honestly, really the plants is like, I've seen these like huge transformations in a lot of people's genetics that I've been fixing for them that are breeders and that are really reputable breeders. And I've been putting them on these salt mixes, and the plants and like strains are just flourishing. And I just think that it would be awesome for me to get some feedback from such a great group and have some of you guys running it. And so that we can talk about some of these things in the chat, or like how you guys feel about rock wool, and like, I don't know, what do you guys like growing with? It's like, I will cover all and any information that we can that actually interests you. As if you don't want to always just talk about rock wool, you guys gotta let me know. Or hydro. Yeah. Also, did anybody in the chat say what they were smoking tonight? Because I did not see any strains in there. Okay? So if you guys want to get in that chat and drop something right now, I would love to light this blunt with you. And we can talk about your flavors, and I will talk about mine. So I wanted to do a news of the week of all of the news of the week that everybody has been talking about with let me see right now. I'm going to mess this up if I just go for it. So the rescheduling, okay? The federal shenanigans that is being spoken about. That's why I'll come back to this, because obviously I'm too high to talk about it. But I think I want to see what you guys really actually think about them even discussing rescheduling cannabis to. I think they're promoting like the pharmaceutical industry and really trying to get it like back to medical or something, I guess, from my understanding. And yeah, I think it would fuck us all too. That's a definite, like, I think it's weird. I think it's like super strange. Like, I'm not even like really a political person, obviously, but I think that it's really strange to me that this is something we're even discussing, or that this is like, I just thought it was weird that I was like, this is like over a decade later. And like it's just, I see like for like 1 second, like really like short, maybe even less than a second, is I see where there could be like this opportunity if you were like a dirty hustler, where you're like, hell yeah, we're going to make money again if it goes back to medical and all that stuff. But I see the truth, though, of that is if you have this, like, where, you know, basically, like, Marlboro is, like, running this, and it's prescribed to you. Even just the idea to me of, like, a doctor prescribing something to you. So can I tell you guys, like, really quick, a really personal story, but it's worth it, is, so when I was, like, I don't know, like 21 or something, is I was at the girly doctor's, and she's like, this is like at a Catholic hospital, like place, and, or like funded by a Catholic something. It's like a religious hospital, right? And the doctor is like my mom's doctor, and like just like traditional, like I can't even describe it, but it's a very like conservative environment, okay? And like we're doing this like girly whatever. So at the end of my appointment, I'm like talking to the doctor, and I was like, this is when weed was really hard to get your medical card. And like, it was really hard even in Colorado, and especially if you were like underage. So I remember asking her if she would write my red card for cramps. And like, I was like, would you consider doing something like this, because this like would really help, and like blah, blah, blah. And I tell her like, I don't want to take these prescription pills, and I don't want to do all these things. And she was so uncomfortable, but she literally wrote it for me. And it was the first and last red card she ever wrote in her entire career before she retired. And I remember she was so scared to give it to me, but she did. And it was like this whole like, I don't know, like you could tell that they couldn't like support that, like the organization that she was affiliated with and all these different things. And I was like, it's so weird that now that they're like on board for weed, because they see like, oh, they shaped it even like, oh, the weed industry is hurting. Like, let me help you guys. Like, fuck you. It's like, I feel like it was insane to me that I was like, no, you guys see that it's working as well. Like, you see all these like places and brands like blowing up as well. Like, yeah, people are struggling, but not some of these other guys. Like, I'll tell you that. And like, I feel like there's a lot of companies that are still flourishing. And for some reason, I'm just like, dude, you guys have found where the money's at once again. And you're gonna fuck all of us, like, for doing all this hard work and like going through all this stuff. And then you got people still in prison, still in jail. Like, I'm just like, what is going on with shit? Like, what is this? I don't know why I'm so like upset about it, but I feel like I was just completely mind blown that this was something that was even being like discussed. I was like, fucking morons, surrounded by idiots, if that's what you guys are doing. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah. Glad I got that off my chest. Thank you guys. I have your Corey's crush, Beans Peter, sent going down next month. Ooh. Mids. Some of these are just amazing. Yeah, I feel like mids everywhere at that point. And that's the thing too, is like these connoisseur boutique, like the guys really trying. Like I would even like put it in that category. Let's just say the guys that want to grow the best weed and they want to breed the best strains. So they want to like they put all this attention into detail. They put all this money into it, but then they're competing with like these assholes that like can drop the price and control a market and the square footages and licenses, and it's always owned by like some politician, and something was I don't even know. I heard even New York is like frustrating right now for a lot of people going through it. Is I heard that they had a lot of shutdowns recently on like as they're introducing these retail licenses. Is I was told that they were enforcing like shutdowns of like bodegas and like whatever. And it's weird though, because I was recently told that they went through and shut them down for a really short period of time, and then they just reopened. And so the people that are actually going through the licensing and going through this process, trying to do it legit, is there's like a really small group that's actually able to operate there right now. And I don't know, it's like I was just like, even that shit like ruins markets right off the bat. Like you know what I mean? Like mixed feelings. It's like, obviously, I'm all for the black market, but obviously, I'm all for the retail market too. It's like, I don't know. I feel like if you want weed, you should be able to get weed. Like, you should be able to smoke weed. It's really what it comes down to. But I think you should be able to get good weed. You know, I think that it would be nice if you could like choose your person, like, and not be going into like Walmart and finding fucking weed on the counter, or like, I don't want to go into a gas station and be able to buy weed. Like, that shit just pisses me off. Like, this is not a cigarette. Like, this is not like, it's so much better than that. You know what I mean? Like, if it is your homie that you're getting it from, like, yeah, I want to pay my homie. Like, if it's somebody that I support in the business that owns a dispensary or owns a grow, like, fuck yeah, I want to go pay for your stuff. Like, but no, I don't want to get this like pre-roll or shit at a concert from wherever. Like, or go to a hospital and what? Are you kidding me? Ew. No one I know produces Schedule 3 drugs in the backyard or basement at home. Don't feel the feds have any incentive to allow everyone access. Yeah, that's where, Mr. Toad, you're right. It's like, to even have Schedule 3 be, like, to even have it comparable to a drug, like, period. It's, like, so hard for me to even say weed is, like, even in a sentence. Like, just, I can't even, just can't. Like, what are you guys talking about? Fucking morons. These, okay, Lifesaver, F4, I'm in love with. Had to get a cut. Pregnant. That's awesome, Dog Pounds. Disbanded Brotherhood, you are amazing. I still have an Aeroflow set up. Oh, really? So what do you think? What do you think with all these diseases and bugs? Like, have you come across like some challenges with that? I feel like it's not necessarily bad at all. And I think if you can really keep things like super clean, you're just like over the top, I feel like you can really like flourish and thrive with a system like that. But I think for like the growers that are just like showing up or like doing it, I don't think that's a setup for you. We know Disbanded's not like that. Okay, so Doc Diesel, thank you. Is smoking on Duke okay, Duke cross with Skunk VA collab. Hoodoo. Ooh, that sounds really nice. That sounds fantastic. I've been trying to get Duke to stop by when he's like in Denver. It's like he lives so far away that we don't get to see each other very often. But I'm trying to get him in the studio. So if you guys talk to Duke anytime soon, you just let him know that he should come smoke with us. I guess he's off of prohibition, and I am so excited for Duke. So proud of him too. Let's see. Okay, I'm sorry. I just missed these when we were going through the photos because you guys saw how ungraceful I was with that. And I love the chat. That is why I do the show. Testing is easy. I'm in a wheelchair and was able to get good samples for the labs. It's super easy. Awesome, Mr. Toad. Thank you. I think the home grower has no testing available. The ability to call it iffy grill is a good trait. That is funny. Rusty Nails. Yeah, you're right. I do believe though that TASA, I do believe their lab does do out of state though. Anybody that wants to get their stuff tested, you just slide into my DMs and I'll put you guys in touch with them. Absolutely phenomenal group. And I know she'll take care of you. She really wants everybody to just have healthy plants. And she's just so smart. And I feel like really passionate about this. So I feel, and it's just like her and her husband. And I really like what they're working with, you know, and it's cool because like he's an actual grower. Her like husband's a real grower, like always has been. Like they're just good. You know what I'm talking about? Rusty Nails, H2O2 is so good for so many things. Yes. Mr. Toad. Info is always great. I always want to learn. Sometimes I know I sound annoying. I think is my fear is like I want to talk about some things because I know they're finite details sometimes that may not interest you. But I think at some point in time, you're going to run into some of these things and you're going to be like, oh, I could go back to the treat show and I could touch on this, or that's the goal. As I get more time to be able to put the scenes together for the show, is I really think wintertime always slows down for every grower. Like I feel like we're almost there. So I think if you guys just hang in with me, we'll have it where this will be a great resource for you to be able to type in if you're like having problems with russets or aphids or you want to use H2O2 or even bleach. Like I've been talking to a lot of people about teaching people how to mix bleach. Like, and sounds ridiculous, but don't hesitate to like call like on the Instagram thing or like email me or any of these things with simple questions. Is like, I think that mixing bleach properly and like being able to actually like treat your clones with them or like your equipment as you're taking clones, like all of these things are so important now that we know HLVD is just around. Is like, and I think it's good practice with like fusarium. And I think that this is just something that, yeah, if you guys have any problems or like questions with just mixing things, we'll do an episode about it. I will make some solutions up here if you guys want to see. The same with mixing salts. Is like there's proper and improper ways of mixing nutrients. So yeah, if you guys have any questions like that, don't hesitate. That's the cool part about being blonde sometimes is like you can just be the idiot in the room. Like if you guys, yeah, I don't have to talk about anything and no question is a bad question. So you guys don't hesitate. We got a lot of different types of growers that watch the show actually, and I think it'd be more or most useful if we actually covered like all of the bases, you know, from start to finish. But we don't want to make it boring either. So you guys let me know. How do you bleach or mix bleach properly? Gosh, thank you, iFunkism. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Oh my gosh, Stone Ninja. So good. Blue, I am so freaking happy to see you guys in the chat. Stone Ninja, I smoked all your weed. It was phenomenal. I smoked a whole ounce. Thank you so much. Blue, when are you coming back? These guys are the people you want to get high with. You want to talk about a good group? So Ninja has a bumpin' channel on Twitch. I know he's got like 1 billion followers or subscribers. Yeah. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I want to be like Blue and Ninja, the cool kids club. Like, they know what's up. Mike Denver. God, got the homies in the chat tonight. I am so excited and grateful. Don't forget to say sauce. Cha-cha. I feel, oh, see, Blue is my little sparkle baby. Super grateful for you guys. Everybody tonight, you are phenomenal. And I really mean it. Okay, before we close out the show, I want everybody to see, I can't even zoom in on it. Oh, maybe you can see it. You see this bad boy? Okay. This is an amethyst in my water bottle. All right? Delicious. Hold on. I just need to take a drink before I tell you guys this. Okay, so it's supposed to help you. It's supposed to help you with everything. I think it just looks good, you know? Just makes you feel good looking at it. But all these crystal benefits. So I was thinking, what if we did like a seed drop or a pre-roll even? I know everybody's already sad, but if these were actual rolled joints, like I was just thinking of like actually rolling joints and making them nice joints, is if you put like little crystals in the containers. What do you guys think about this? Like, I was just like, it would be cool if you had like some tiny cool shit with your shit, like in like glass like this. Is like, I just really think, I don't know. What do you guys think? I just really like it. I was like, how could I do this with like a seed pack or like weed? Do you guys think that the crystal would make you happier or not really? Would you just be like, look at this dummy with her crystals? I really just am a fan of crystals. and I do want to send you guys a good energy. I think I should sell clones with crystals in them too. But I don't know. Do you guys think there should be like a goodie inside your goodie bag? I kind of think there should be a treat in there. What do you guys think? If you guys can think of any cool treats this week, please write in the comments on YouTube. Okay? Please write them anywhere. Let me know what cute treats would be cool with weed and seeds and clones. Okay? Let's start there. Well, I hope you guys have a beautiful evening and a lovely rest of your week. Thank you to the squad for checking in tonight. And thank you everybody else for listening and liking and subscribing and even hanging in and smoking with me. I hope to see you guys soon. Peace and love.